Hey guys, it's Ron and Don. I want to take a moment and just remind everyone the Ron and Don show now drops on Wednesdays.
Yeah, so we changed the date of the feed from Mondays to Wednesdays. Partially, the biggest part for me is, now that we're working with Windermere, the weekends is when everything happens. And like I'm going to open houses, we're showing houses to clients. Like it was very difficult to record the show, get it out by Monday morning.
Yeah. You just had something really cool happen with someone from the Ron and Don Nation.
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out and a congratulations to Patti. And I asked her if I could tell her story a little bit. And it's a real estate story, but it's really a human being story because I met with her. It's several months ago, and she was basically like, you know what? I had some stuff happen in the family. Her brother had passed away. She ended up moving right after that, and was like, I feel like I lost my sense of place. Like I'm not in the right neighborhood. And she had a lovely house and it just didn't feel right. And so I listened to her story, and I had right before that had just listened to this podcast by a woman named Debbie Millman, who's a very famous advertising executive and teacher on the East Coast. And she did this whole thing about the importance of place that really resonated with me, because I had always thought that it was like, you bloom where you're planted. Like you could part, especially when you and I moved around the country a lot for radio. It's like, we're living in Phoenix, I'll just bloom where I'm planted. Or we're moved to New Orleans, all right, I'll just figure out how to thrive in New Orleans. And so I found when my marriage was going south, it was like I was in the wrong place geographically, and it made a huge difference in my life when I got back to what I considered my neighborhood and my spot where I felt alive. And so I was telling Patti about this, and she says, I have a neighborhood. I have a spot where I feel the most at home, and it's down by Seward Park in Seattle, sort of off of the water there on Lake Washington. I said, well, let's do it. Let's concoct a plan where you get out of the place where you don't feel like you belong, and we get you back to the place where you do feel like you belong. And it was a process, because we had 2 tracks going at the same time. We had to get her house ready to be sold and some repairs done on that house, get a marketing plan, get it listed, get all that stuff done. And at the same time, find a place for her to move to, because like she had, there wasn't another place to go. So it's like we had to figure this out to where both things happened concurrently and that they were right. And so we put together this marketing plan for her place. And you may have seen, I put a picture up online here recently. And so that took a while to massage and get ready to go and get staged and photographed and all this stuff. And we put that on the market. It sold in 2 days over asking price. And that was fantastic, with the asterisk of now the pressure was on to find the new place. We had a closing date on her house, and she's like, oh my God, where are me and my cats going to go in 30 days? And I was like, you know what? We've done this the right way. And I just believe something's going to open up for us, because the first house she liked back in her old neighborhood, someone had put an offer on it, and it was off the market. And so I think you and I were talking about this. I was like, I got to make something happen here. Like, we're on the clock. I started looking at like rentals. It's like, maybe like, I don't want to put you in the wrong place again. So like, maybe you're going to have to rent for a while or whatever. So we were actually at a training meeting at the office, and I got a text from her that was like, oh, this thing just came on. I have a good feeling about this house. Can we go look at it? And I was like, well, let me finish up this meeting. We went down to Seward Park. We walked in, and it was the first day it was on the market. It had just gone on, first open house. It was with a Windermere agent named Andrew. Walk in, and I was like, oh man, this is it.
That's awesome.
This is the one. And so we went out. There were these 2 Adirondack chairs out in the garden area. And so we just went and sat out there in the chairs for a minute after looking at the house, and people were coming in. Like, it was a steady stream of people because it was a really nice house. And I said, Patti, how do you feel about this one? She goes, I think this is a house. We looked at every house in that zip code, like every house in our price range in that zip code. And so we put an offer on that house and wrapped it up in that very first day. And so we just last Friday, we did both closings. So we closed on her old house, closed on the new house on the same day. Then I was there. I met her as the movers came over and gave her a gift. and she's been texting me all weekend. It's like the feeling to wake up in her neighborhood has made all the difference to her. So I think sometimes it's about the specific house, but sometimes it's about more than that. It's about connections with place that I think are very important.
Yeah. Hey, if you need some help, a lot of people go looking at real estate over the weekend. We'd love to look with you if you need some house hunting or just some ideas on a property that you have. Reach out to Ron Upshaw at Windermere.com, Don O'Neill at Windermere.com. And thanks, you guys, for being patient with us, because that's kind of the way we make our livings now since we left terrestrial radio. But we love doing this podcast, and now instead of dropping on Mondays, we just want to remind you it drops every Wednesday. If you're driving around right now, you can't remember all that, just go to ronanddon.com to see the microphone, you see us, click on that, and we'd love to be a part of life's biggest transaction. When you think real estate, think Ron and Don. You keep your head up, your shoulders back, and we'll see you very soon right here on the Ron and Don Radio Network.